Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Poe, and today I'm doing the 1001 Books tag. This tag was created by Miss Reads a Lot, and I was tagged by Kazen at Always Doing. I will link both of their videos doing this tag below. So there are quite a few different prompts on this, all with the theme of 1001, so let's go ahead and get started. 1001 lists. Do you follow any book lists? It can be a prize list or a challenge like the Rory Gilmore challenge. So the book list or prize that I really follow and participate in is the Hugo Awards, which is an award that is given in science fiction and fantasy. And this is an award that is given out by Worldcon each year, which is a convention for science fiction and fantasy, and anybody can vote in this. So all you have to do is pay to be a supporting member, which is around like $40 or $50, and you can nominate and vote in this. So my husband, Sush, and I have been doing this for the past few years, and we really like doing it partly because it keeps us kind of interested in what's going on and new within the field of SFF, but also because not that many people vote, and especially not that many people nominate, so you can have a pretty big impact simply by, choosing to vote in these things. And the Hugo Award is obviously a lot of awards have their own issues, but it is something that has a pretty big impact on authors' careers. And so I especially like to try to read some of the authors that I love or new authors and see if these are things that I can vote for. I have a lot of fun with this, and my husband and I both spend a lot of time each year trying to participate in this. We have a whole playlist, so I'll link that below, of us talking about different things for the Hugo Awards if you're interested. 1001 books. Approximately how many physical books do you currently own? How many ebooks? So it looks like we've got around 550 physical books. That's my books and Sush's books combined. And of those, we've got a lot of things that are SFF, nonfiction, romance, stuff like that. But a huge portion of our collection is graphic work. So around 250 out of the 550 total is graphic. So comic books, picture books, manga, stuff like that. We really love our graphic works. For ebooks, I went and looked. It looks like I have around 500 ebooks on my Kindle, and most of those, the vast majority, are romance novels. So I have been using Kindle for quite a while, and I used to be an incredibly heavy romance reader. Now I read across like lots and lots of different genres, but I went through a period where really heavily romance, so almost all of those are from that period. 1001 books read. Approximately how many books have you read in your lifetime? Do you keep track? So I have been keeping track since 2016. I have a spreadsheet where I keep track, and since 2016 I have read 866 books. Prior to that, I was reading a ton, but I didn't track it. But if I estimate that maybe in my childhood I read 25 books a year, and in my teenage and in kind of young adulthood I read something like 40 books a year, I think maybe over my lifetime I have read something around 2,000 books, but that's just an estimate. 1001 Arabian Nights. Have you read any stories from the Arabian Nights? Do you have a favorite? If you haven't read it, do you want to? So I tried once to read the Arabian Nights when I was maybe in junior high, something like that, and I borrowed it from the university library. This was a very dense translation, and I struggled with it as like a preteen. So I only read a couple of stories. I have not tried to pick it up since. I think that if I did, I might look for a more modern translation or adaptation or something like that. But yeah, I do still remember trying to get through that very, very thick book when I was a kid. 1001 flavors. Do you have a favorite food or flavor? I have so many favorites. So many favorites. I think every single category of food, I have a list of maybe 20 or 30 favorites. I really strongly like a lot of things and dislike a lot of things. So it's not just that I'm pleased by everything, but very specifically these things please me. But obviously I'm not going to go through all of those here. I will give you one category, drinks, and talk about some of my favorite drinks. So my absolute favorite drink by far is water. I drink water all the time. I love drinking water. It's excellent. But Other things that I really like to drink, I love coffee, especially with milk, so lattes, things like that. I really like masala chai. Susha makes it at home sometimes. It is so good with ginger and milk and cardamom. I really, really like, as a treat every once in a while, things like mango lassi or Thai iced tea. And speaking of iced tea, I love iced tea. Things like oolong or jasmine or green tea, definitely unsweetened. I don't do sugar in my tea. And then I love alcoholic drinks every once in a while, things like mojitos or white wines like Viognier or red wines like Malbec. I like drinks as a treat, but almost always I'm just having water or probably coffee. 1,001 pages. Have you read a book that is over 1,001 pages? Is there one that you recommend and is worth the time? What's the longest book you've read? So looking at the spreadsheet that I have for the past few years that I've been tracking things, I do have a couple of books that are just over 1,001 pages, not by far. Two of them are Wheel of Time, and the other is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I definitely would recommend. For the Wheel of Time, obviously, it's a little bit of an investment to get into this series. One of the books that is over 1,000 pages is The Shadow Rising, which is book 4 in the Wheel of Time. And that one actually is my favorite book in the series. I do really recommend that book. I loved it. But you have to read the series in order to get to book 4. And I don't know that I would recommend getting into the series as a whole. I think that it hasn't necessarily aged as well as I would have liked. I'm in book 10 right now and I'm a little frustrated, but book 4 was really good. It was also just over 1,000. 1,001 buckets. Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? What is one thing on the list? So the closest thing that I have to a bucket list is national parks. My husband and I love going to national parks. We've been to around 14 so far, and there are so many more interesting ones to go to. Some of my favorites so far have been Crater Lake, which is in Oregon, and it has this amazing deep blue lake that is at the top of a mountain. It's absolutely gorgeous. As well as Theodore Roosevelt National Park, which is a very interesting park because I never had heard of it before, but when we went there it was so interesting, and there were bison and there were beautiful landscapes. Really, really lovely park, and I just want to go to as many of these as we can. Probably not all of them though, because there are some in Alaska that are just really inaccessible, but all of the ones that are feasible to go to, it would be really fun to go to. 1,001 numbers. Do you have a lucky number? Is there a story behind it? The closest thing that I have to a lucky number is 42, because after all, it is the ultimate answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything, as is found in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. 1,001 authors. Do you have a favorite author and or genre? I have so many favorite authors and so many favorite genres. I love so many different things, but I'll focus on just one, SFF. I read a lot of SFF. This is probably the bulk of what I read and maybe my favorite genre in a sense. And within that, I have so many favorite authors, but right now I am reading 2 of them, so I'll mention those. The first is Tasha Suri. I am rereading The Jasmine Throne. Absolutely loved this book, absolutely love this author. The reread is fantastic. I'm also reading Siren Queen by Nhi Vo. Nhi Vo has written some amazing works. I love especially The Empress of Salt and Fortune by her, and Siren Queen is her new release. It is so fantastic so far. So I am in heaven right now reading both of these books. They are just so good, and yeah, it makes me really happy. 1,001 activities. Do you have a favorite outdoor activity? For sure, my favorite outdoor activity is hiking. I love to go for hikes with Sush. We go especially on kind of tree-lined mountain paths. If there's just a nice kind of woodland trail with a little bit of elevation, that is perfect, and I could spend any day doing that. It makes me really, really happy. And we try to get out for hiking as often as we can. Also, if you watch any of my vlogs, you'll see little clips. We have a nature preserve that's just across the street from us, so I go for walks there pretty much every day. So you get to see little bits of that. I don't do like backpacking or anything like that, but just, little, couple hour hikes, that sort of thing is so much fun. 1,001 friends. Tag some friends. So I'm going to go ahead and tag Municorn at the Bookish Land. We just did a buddy read together last month that was so much fun, and I think she would have really interesting answers to this question. So Municorn, if you're interested, and if you haven't already done this, I'd love to see your answers to this, but as Kazen at Always Doing always says, the love is in the tag, so don't feel the need to do it if you're not in the mood. Okay, so those are all of my answers to the 1001 Books tag. If you guys have any answers that you want to share, any thoughts, especially things like your favorite foods, how do you even narrow that down? I have so many, or your favorite authors or anything else. I would love to hear your answers too, so just leave me a comment down below.